familiar. So if you don't know by now, then you should probably get familiar.
And with me today, I have a special guest who recently came 5th in Worlds. We have WeirdChamp. Welcome to the channel.
I don't really know what to say about myself.
No worries.
Unfortunately, I'm not 14. Unlike what Scully said.
So there were these chats going on about how WeirdChamp was a 14-year-old kid, and he actually wasn't. He tricked us all. We all got memed quite badly.
I mean, I'm still kind of a kid compared to the people who play this format. I'm 19, but yeah, no, I'm not 14. It was funny though. It was funny.
It is very funny. You definitely caught a lot of us off guard, and I believe you still are in the Philippines though. So that much is true.
Not Philippines, Singapore.
Oh, forgive me, Singapore. Yes. My bad. Please forgive me.
I don't mind. It's okay.
And so tell me, like, what before we get into your deck profile that I'm looking over now, what made you get into Goat format?
So I in like I played like current Yu-Gi-Oh on and off because like retro formats are like not a thing in the OCG. Like basically no one plays Goats, no one plays like Teledat or like Dragon Ruler format or whatever. Okay. So it's just like not a thing, right? So I played current on and off, and then in like 2019, in 2019 I was playing Maple Story, like the MMO, right? So I had a friend who played Yu-Gi-Oh when they were younger, and so we wanted to play, but obviously like the guy doesn't play current, right? So eventually like we decided to play Goat format, so that's how I got into it.
Oh, amazing. And yeah, man, we're very lucky to have you in this format. You definitely got some mad skills. And I just wanted to take I want you to take us through your deck build. So I believe you were inspired by YGM's deck build. Can you give us the name for this build?
So I think I don't know what WGM calls this deck. Like so I saw it on an on like his blog, I think. Okay. So I don't know if he calls it like Bazoo Aggro or like whatever. For me, I would call the deck like Return Aggro, but I'm not sure what he wants to call it. I mean, it's by and large his deck. Like the main deck is like 36 cards, the same, I think. Okay, and you've changed 4 cards in his main deck. Yeah, I'll explain that in a bit.
Sure. Yeah.
So do you mind if I like walk you through?
Please, no, take us through
decision to play this deck as well?
Yeah, take us through.
Yeah. So I know you were talking about mad skills, but like I think I'm one of the I've like one of the worst or like the worst technical player of anyone qualified for Worlds, right? So from the get-go, basically I couldn't bring like Chaos Control or Goat Control because I would just lose every control mirror. Okay. So I didn't bring those decks. So that left me with basically playing either either library warriors or like this deck, right? Yeah. So I didn't want to bring library because I expected like everyone to side heavily for it, and same with warriors, right? Because like you can side Royal Decree against warriors, and like even though warriors has some outs to it, it's like you have to draw them, and even if you draw them, the deck is still like kind of prepared to play a reasonable game with you. So it's like if you don't draw the out, you just lose, and if you do draw the out, it's still like a 50-50 matchup. So I didn't want to bring warriors because of that. So therefore I decided to play this deck because this deck seemed like pretty difficult to side against, and it had like the same kind of pressure that warriors had. Yes. That allows you to like force the game into top deck wars and decrease technical plays like relevance. Because ultimately, like I'm not a good player, so which I think speaks to like how strong this deck is as well. Because like if I was a good player, like maybe the list is not so good, but like, I'm clearly a very bad player. So
no, you can't say you're a bad player. Coming 5th in Worlds.
So like the fact that I got 5th shows like how good the deck is.
Fair enough.
So okay, so the essentially the cards that WJM didn't play are the 3 main deck Dashoots. I think he sided like 3.
Okay, so he didn't play the Dashoots.
And the Jar. So the reason I decided to play Dashoots is because in this current format, because like chaos is everywhere, I wanted to have cards against it in the main deck because I think that playing this deck in the first place is like a meta call, right? So I should just commit to the meta call and play cards that beat chaos. Yes. Okay. Yeah, so that's why I main deck 3 Dashoots. I think most decks nowadays should be main decking 3 Dashoot because like I think the assumption is that over 50% of people are playing chaos, so it's going to be live in like more than 50% of your game ones, and it's really important. So I played that. Then I also played Morphing Jar. I don't know WGM personally at all, but so I talked to him a little bit after the event. He told me the morphing jar is a little bit weird because like it's like somewhat anti-synergy with Standard Dragon.
Okay.
And I think that mostly makes sense. I don't know if I would run it again, but I think I put it in as like a reset button. It's like a panic button if I'm like 2 behind or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh hey, I can get lucky and draw this card, and they can like not alt it.
No, for sure.
So regarding the main deck, like so the concept of the deck is essentially that so Warriors tries to most of this is like WJM's words. Like I can't really provide in-depth analysis, but so the concept of the deck is to because Warriors simplifies the game state using its spells and traps, right? So the whole idea is that because spells and traps are generally pretty reactive, as an aggro deck you want to be more proactive and simplify the game state with your monsters instead. So that's why there's like a relatively high monster count.
Okay, yeah, I see.
So,
a lot of monsters. 21 monsters.
Yeah. So the whole idea is that you can be like a capable aggro deck without return, and then so when they answer your initial push, then you flip return, and then like they already answered your board, so you can just kill them with return. Wow. So that's like the general concept of the deck.
Very clever. Very clever.
And yeah, so I didn't come up with any of this obviously, but so and I think like one of the first things people think about like is like, and I think WJ mentioned this as well, like why are you playing flip monsters in like an aggro deck, right? Like Cyberjar is understandable because the card's pretty broken if you have a high monster count and if you are like proactive. But like why are you playing Dekoichis and merchants, right? So the thing about Dekoichi is that you can set it like turn 1 when you go first, and then if they don't answer it or like you set ring behind or something, then if you when you flip Dekoichi, you draw a card so it replaces itself, but you still have this like 1400 meter that you can go face with.
Yeah. And if they knock it, I'm sure it still works really quite well for you if you have a return of different dimension set. So getting it knocked isn't the end of the world. You thin your deck out and you have a dimension to bring it back late game if you need to.
Yeah, it's like 5,200 damage, I think, with like 3 Dekoichis. Yeah, then I think the other interesting card in the so the reason like why this is like way better than Bazoo Dimension Fusion is because it's like harder to side against, because like the deck is like it relies like entirely on Dimension Fusion, right? So if they stop that, then like you can't really play, and you can also lets you run like Nobleman, because Nobleman is it's like really useful if your opponent's playing defensively, but you can't run Nobleman in Dimension Fusion decks because when you Dimension Fusion, then the flip monsters come back and in defense position only, and like you can't hit them. Like it's like essentially giving your opponent a free scapegoat.
No, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other interesting thing about the deck is like the 1 copy of Skullnet. Like I initially when I looked at the deck, I wasn't sold on the card, but like after playing like a few games with it, the card is insane. Like it outs 1000 Ice Restrict. Like you don't even have to flip it preemptively. You can flip it in response to meta, and then you can just out turret 1000 Ice Restrict with it. And it also outs like if you flip it in standby or like before your opponent does stuff, it outs like flip monsters that Tsukuyomi is trying to reset. It outs like a Surah Priest if you have like 4 monsters in the graveyard already.
It's amazing.
And then it also helps you fuel return if you don't have Bazoo.
Yeah. I played in my ninja deck and I love it. Same concept you're talking about now. How you can just pop off anything you want basically if you're giving the monsters. Yeah,
it's really solid. This is like all stuff that WGM covered as well. So another one of the things he said, which came up like once in the tournament, is that you can essentially you can pop one of your monsters after attacking to make space for return if you need more damage.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's anything super. Oh yeah, no, there's one other thing. I cut Sangan, which might sound, I don't know, maybe it's still wrong.
You cut
Sangan.
Like really well, I mean, if you're looking at your deck, the only targets would be the Jaws, the Merchant, and the Dekoichis. So, I mean, I think it's a fair cut.
Just DD Warrior Lady as well.
Oh yeah, DD Warrior Lady.
I mean, theoretically speaking, it's like Dekoichi that you don't need to set, right? But I didn't like that it was only 1000 attack, so it's like very hard to pressure with it. Yeah. So I've often found that like when I have a lot of monsters in hand, right? Because there's like 21 monsters in the deck. Yeah. And you only get 1 normal summon per turn, so like it felt that Sangan was usually not the best normal summon. So I made the decision to cut it. I still don't know if it's right, but I haven't felt like I've needed to cut.
Okay. Well, it's looking very solid.
Yeah.
And I just actually had a question looking at your side deck here. You ran 3 prohibitions. What were you thinking about these and using them against?
Yeah, so this was essentially like for library because I expected a lot of library.
Okay.
So yeah, so like you when you play Prohibition and you name Giant Runate and they have like very few outs to it.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, very very good call.
So speaking of the side deck, we can go through that. Like so Royal Decree is obviously for warriors.
Yes.
And like I think even in the mirror, like if like I don't know if this is right as well, but I've basically been siding Dashut out going second because firstly I expect people to side Royal Decree against like return, theoretically speaking, if they feel like they want to out return. So having more traps in decks not so good, and like the cards also not as good going second. So I always side out the Dashuts, but so if in the mirror, if like opponent keeps in Dashuts and like not necessarily mirror, but like so any deck that plays Dashuts and like either return or like Jar of Greed or whatever, even those decks you can bring Decree in, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I don't think you played any burn matchups today, but Decree could also be used against burn decks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't expect too much burn. I expected maybe like 2 or 3 people to play burn.
No,
but
for sure.
it covers that as well. Although I think good burn players can still navigate around this card.
No, 100%, exactly. And I see that you've also added 3 judgments. What were the judgments come in game 2 generally for the Dashuts a lot of the time, or when would you add the...
No, so for the Dashuts I was like siding in MST and like Snatch Steal and like either Kaiko or Gorilla, because I think Judgment is too reactive, right, for an aggro deck.
Okay.
But so initially against combo I wanted to side Curse off the Forbidden spell, but like you can't do that when you run like 9 spells and like most of them are like power cards you don't want to discard.
Yeah, you don't want to discard them.
Yeah, so you can't run Curse and so like Magic Jammer is like not that impactful, and like so there's like a bunch of cards that are good against combo, right? But then I realized that like Judgment does the same thing all of those do, but it's like way less restrictive, and your life points generally don't matter against combo. So Judgment only comes in against combo, like Reasoning Gate, Library, Empty Jar. So those are the only decks. Those are the only matchups I bring it in. I won't bring it in against any fair matchup because life points actually matter.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like pay 4K.
Fair enough.
Like, yeah, like life points don't matter in current, but life points matter a lot in gold apparently.
No, yeah, they do. Especially against most decks these days.
I wanna talk about Gorilla if it's okay.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so I noticed WGM cites this card a lot. I don't know why he does, but for me, the logic behind citing Gorilla is that it's... So you know Kinetic Warrior, right? Like I think people like to cite that card against warriors, like the thing that gives like 2k when it battles a warrior.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but so this Gorilla kind of like does similar things to Kinetic Warrior, but it doesn't only do it against warriors, and against combo decks where you need to beat down, it's like another beater. So I think overall it's like more well-rounded than Kinetic Warrior, which is like only good against warriors.
Yeah.
And then the Kaiku sort of like for chaos, obviously.
Did you in the tournament that you played? Did you play majority against chaos decks?
Yeah, basically so I got a bye round 1, which was like pretty lucky. Then like round 2, round 3, I believe for both chaos decks, I wasn't 100% sure. Like maybe round 2 was gold control, but it looks like, if anything, it looks like it was splashing like at least 1 chaos sorcerer.
Yeah.
So probably chaos control. So
would you side in both the Kaikus if you went up against chaos?
Yeah, so going second against Chaos, I side out 3 Dashuts and a card destruction. Because card destruction is good, and like especially in this deck, but like when your opponent has Thunder Dragon and you don't, it feels super bad. So I side out card destruction and 3 Dashuts going second, and then I bring in Snatch Steal, MST, and 2 Kaikus.
Okay. So
and then if I'm going first, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
If I'm going first, then the MST comes, like, then it's just like card destruction gets sided out for Snatch Steal, and then the 2 Skilled Darks get sided out for the 2 Kaikus.
Okay, amazing. And then finally, I just wanted to ask you your extra deck. I'm assuming this is just some form of like smokescreen, so people assume that you're playing something you weren't, like Go Control, or is there no strategy behind it and you just threw some fusions together?
I mean, there's no reason not to fill the extra deck, because if you don't fill the extra deck, then your opponent knows you're not playing Metamorphosis.
No, exactly.
Or like they can nowadays, because like you have infinite extra deck space now, right? But it's also like, but if I was playing a deck with Metamorphosis, I'll find it super troublesome to go into the extra and manually add the cards.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So your opponent has like sort of assumes that you have like Meta or Cyberstein in some sense.
Oh yes, very clever. So in your side deck, you could be having Cyberstein. So you were playing some mind games and or hoping maybe someone had an exchange.
I mean, I don't think anyone at Worlds will fall for that. But there's no reason not to fill the extra deck.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's just like nonsensical cards. There's like kind of a joke here, but I'm not going to explain the joke.
Not a problem at all. Well, yeah, man, this deck is looking very amazing. I must say that I'm very excited to give it a try. I've done the Dimension Fusion deck, but like you were saying, it's easier to counter than this deck, and this deck is looking very, very solid.
Yeah, the Dimension Fusion deck's like not that good. Like I qualified for Worlds in like GFC 3 with it, but like I just got lucky the entire day. I played so bad and the deck was so bad, but I got lucky. So that was like the only reason I was qualified.
Oh, congratulations. I mean, you did it. A lot of people tried and failed, and lucky or skilled, you made it nonetheless, and you made it to the top 8, man. So congratulations.
Thanks. I think a lot of credit goes to WGM for the idea. Like, the deck is insane. I would never have come up with this.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, so like credit to him, I guess. If this deck gets like played a lot and it's oppressive in the hands of people who are actually good at the game, maybe you guys can say WGM like ruined the format or something. I don't know.
Well, look, a lot of people are definitely going to be looking at the top players of this tournament and their deck builds, and I believe your deck build is definitely one. Well, the deck build that you and YGM have come up together with, because you've definitely added your own.
I didn't come up
with it. I know, but you've added your own little flavor to it, especially for this tournament.
I added 3 dash roots, yeah.
Exactly, you added some dash roots. And this deck is definitely going to be making some waves in the meta for sure. It's nice to see that an aggro build and a Dimension Fusion build is kind of like breaking through the cracks of chaos. So it's good to see it. I'm hoping that a lot more players will take along this deck with them in future tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only reason I did well is because like this deck was so unexpected and like so strong, right? So I guess moving forward, I won't qualify for like the next Worlds.
You don't know that yet. Maybe YGM creates another deck that you've mastered. So we'll see.
Maybe WGM creates another deck.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, let me not keep you any longer. Thank you so much for your time, and congrats again for reaching the top 8 and coming 5th in the first Worlds. Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks so much.
No worries.
I had to get like really lucky to get here, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
I'm very glad. That's what we all can hope for, you know. It's a game, and we all want to have fun at the end of the day. So, yeah, you're winning. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks for having me.
Cheers.